The newest show in the Ultraman franchise has released its premiere episode here on YouTube with English subs and dubs, so it's time to talk about it. Hello everyone, it's thomasjujube, and before I talk about Ultraman Arc's premiere episode, remember to let me know your thoughts about it down in the comment section if you've seen it, but if you haven't checked it out yet, I am going to link to the aforementioned subs and dubs in the description if you don't want to get spoiled. This is an entirely new season of the franchise, so it is a great jumping on point. There's no prior knowledge you need to know. If you're interested in any way, be sure to check it out, especially because I thought this episode was awesome. It really caught me off guard from the first scene. Like, I wasn't expecting Yuma and Arc to already be fused, for Ultraman Arc to already be a presence in this world, and it was a really pleasant surprise. I love the little news broadcast catching us up with stuff. It lets the episode flow in a nice way because it instantly immerses us in this unique world, which I'll talk about at the end, and it lets us experience a semi-normal day in the life of Skip. It's also paired with the full intro sequence, which, you know, kind of on and off whether or not we get that in the episode as an opening or just as an ending fight theme. So I think it's kind of fun that we get it as an opening here so that like it feels like a normal episode. Also, side note, I do like the opening and ending songs. I don't love them, but they are pretty cool. Yuma as a character really surprised me. He is such a refreshing Ultraman protagonist. He's got the goofy silliness that many of the younger characters have, like he's late to work and he has to go to a completely different location after he gets there, but he's actually competent once he gets there. Like, he's not with Skip and bumbling around and they're like, Yuma, just do something. Like, he locks in. He's scanning the kaiju. He's like, this is what we need to do to scan the kaiju. He explains Shigang to Ishido. He fights the little parasites later, and it's not like a moment like, oh, I need to save people. No, this is just what he does. And I think that's really cool, especially because usually the pre-established Ultras are just kind of cool and suave. Look at Orb or Kenji from Ultraman Rising, two Ultras I've also done videos on. You can check out if you'd like. So he feels like an amalgamation of like recent Ultraman protagonist stereotypes, where he's like the silly kid bumbling around, but he knows what he's doing at work, and I guess when it comes to being Ultraman. So I'm not only looking forward to his growth in the season, but even just learning how he discovered Skip and how he became an Ultraman host. Like, that inciting incident I think will be really cool to actually see later on. As for the other Skip characters, Yuppie is really cute. His design is very silly and unique. I quite like it, and he has the same voice as SSSS Gridman's Yuta, so I kind of just hear Yuta when he's talking with a metallic voice filter, so that's fun. The other two don't really get a lot to do individually, but it's episode 1, you know, I'm not expecting a lot out of all the characters right now. I do think it's funny that the attack team captains being Toku alumni is just kind of a thing now. I guess it started with Zet in a way, and now it's just what they're doing. And the girl seems very nice. At the very least, I enjoyed their interactions with Yuma and the whole vibe of the main Skip team. Like, it helps that, as Yuppie says in his introduction, these guys aren't kaiju exterminators, they're just researchers, but they're like a sub-branch of the kaiju extermination force. So it kind of makes them feel like professionals, part of like the main branch of the fence, but they're not like military. So to juxtapose them, we have the member of that bigger branch, Ishido. His inclusion in this premiere is honestly like a stroke of genius. He's new to the Skip environment, so he gets to be the audience surrogate and provide an organic way for character introductions, but we don't jeopardize the setup that Yuma's been on the team, and he knows all these people already. And then he creates like one of the most satisfying payoffs I have ever seen in a premiere episode with the coffee maker gag. It is initially just a fun and silly scene, shows us, you know, this guy isn't as serious as we think, and Skip is just as silly as we think. Then over the course of the episode, Ishido learns about Skip's heroism despite their lack of artillery, and he decides to join them as a liaison by the end of things. So we got a great little character arc to kickstart the season, but then he pulls out a coffee maker to pay off the earlier joke and make this satisfying moment even better, and now it's like heartwarming as well. It is so good, and it's crazy how like a little coffee maker gag makes this premiere stand out. Not the Ultraman stuff, I mean it does, but it's this little character moment. And I also think it's a neat idea to have one of the main characters in the pacifist research branch be a transfer from the higher up military component. It's a unique team composition, and like, even though he's a willing transfer, I feel like there will be a little friction in the beginning with everyone's ideals, which will hopefully make for some juicy drama in the first set of arcs. That was not meant to be a pun. Another thing Ishido does that I like is film Ultraman Arc's first fight scene. It is weird that he was like able to get some of these camera angles like Is he flying? What the fuck? Also, the little timer in the corner is a little weird to me as well. Like, I get it's kind of a cool addition to show off that it's all like the 3-minute fight scene time in one shot, but like at a certain point I kind of would have liked if it went away or something like that. Like, I want to see the whole fight without any little watermarks on it. I want this frame as my thumbnail, and there's a thing in the corner. To be fair, I mean, making the debut fight of your Ultraman season a one-take fight scene from start to end and showing on the screen that it's like one take is absolute insanity, because it looks so good. Like, the action, I mean, Ultraman action is just incredible now, but doing it all like this in one take, probably there's cuts in there, but you know, it looks like one take, is so good. I love the reflection shot. I love how Arc like makes a shield and then just breaks it in half to stab the kaiju, and oh my god, the finisher. Not the actual beam attack, which is still cool. Love a good Ultraman beam attack. But I mean, afterwards, how Arc summons his sword, is not even looking at the parasite, just does a little spin slash just to take it out. Looks so cool. That's why I want it as my thumbnail. And that's the first episode fight, not like the debut of the sword or like a final form. That's just how we're starting the show. So I can't wait to see where we go from here. If you want to hear my thoughts on where we go from here, like I did with Blazar last year, check out my season review if you're interested on that. I am going to be doing weekly short reviews of each episode of Ultraman Arc, in addition to the usual ones I do for Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you want to be up to date on the current shows. We also get to see some of the upcoming forms in the opening and the marketing stuff, and I'm excited to see where those come from. I think they do look neat, and I think they like them a little bit better than the Arc main design, or I like him better with those on, because the main design of Arc, I like it, but it's just, it feels a little too generic. The head has like this unique blue lining, the neck has this unique black coloring, but neither of those are on the rest of the body. So from like the chest down, he just feels like a normal Ultraman, and I don't find that too interesting, especially when it seems like a theme of the show is supposed to be like unleash your imagination. Yuma's imagination is making like a normal Ultraman, I guess. So that's a little disappointing, but you know, it'll probably grow on me. Another thing that I do need to grow on me is the weird filter the whole show is filmed in. They like crank the bloom and saturation up all the way, and it makes the show look unique and fits with the lighthearted tone, but I don't like it. I'm gonna have to get used to it a lot. Speaking of the visuals of the world, I mean, the world of this season has a fascinating premise as well. Like, the space kaiju incident awakening kaiju 16 years ago seems so interesting. Like, were there kaiju already on the planet? Did it spawn them into existence after its impact? Did it evolve them ever before the parasite incident in this episode? From some of the pre-show stuff, we also know that this like has to do with Yuma's backstory as well. I don't want to say it here because maybe they're trying to save it, but it's weird that like we know you can read it on the wiki. But I can't wait. I hope they show it in action. I hope it's not just wiki stuff. Also, the concept of alien parasites turning smaller Earth kaiju into larger attack kaiju is kind of cool. Like, the first kaiju, Shagon these nuts, is just a species of kaiju, and this particular one got infected. So like, I guess at any point we could see more Shagongs, the first episode kaiju, but they might not be hostile, or they're gonna be smaller, they're gonna be different, and I think that's kind of cool. And also, I think there's an interesting setup for another like villain faction almost. Like, are there aliens behind the alien monster horn thing? The parasites, will the parasites evolve into their own evil attack alien species? We'll have to wait and see. Right now, Ultraman Arc has a cool premise with great world building and exciting characters inhabiting it, and I really can't wait to see it all unfold over the course of the year. Make sure you let me know if you're as excited as me in the comment section, and remember to check out those other Ultraman videos if you want more of my thoughts. Subscribe for my future reviews on Ultraman Arc, and I hope to see you next time.